Hello, my name is Kathy and I like to read, so welcome. Oh, welcome back. Apologies in advance if you hear any road noise. I've got the window slightly open because it is a hot one today. Apparently it's going to be 30 degrees, which for Northern England is a pretty toasty. But today's video is going to be another reading vlog where I'm going to try and read some of my August TBR. I've already got a little update for you, as you can probably see. So I've already started reading Arcana Academy. I know I said this name wrong in my TBR video. That's before I knew what it was. So I've since learned that it's arcane magic and arcanist? Wow, I've already got it wrong. It's arcane and arcana. So this is Arcana Academy by Elise Cover. First of all, appreciate the dust jacket. She's a beauty, and as you might have seen in the B-roll, I got a signed copy. So let me take the dust jacket off because it makes me nervous to hold it with the dust jacket on in case it gets ruined. So for the rest of the video, if you see me holding this book up like this, just know that it is Arcana Academy by Elise Cover. And I won't lie to you, I'm already quite a chunky bit way through. I have been reading this book for over a week at this point, and that will probably tell you my thoughts already so far. But let me just give you a brief synopsis. In this realm, we have a kingdom that has arcane magic in the form of tarot cards, and not everybody is blessed with this magic, but the people that are, they can read, ink, and wield tarot cards. And this book follows Clara, who is actually sent to prison at the start of the book because she is forging these tarot cards because she has the magic and she is giving it to people in need. But she gets caught and she gets sent to prison. You are introduced to Prince Kalis, who is the second born prince of the realm, and he needs Clara's help. So he comes to offer her an escape from the prison for a price. And in order to keep up the ruse and get her out of this prison, he enrolls her in his academy, Arcana Academy. He is the headmaster of Arcana Academy, and she is also introduced as his bride-to-be. So this book follows Clara, who is trying to adapt to being in this academy setting where she's being taught about her magic, which she's never had any official schooling, and seeing how she interacts with Prince Kalis and assist him in the way that's necessary. I feel like that's a really bad overview of the book. I did read the synopsis out in the TBR video, so nothing that I've said so far is a spoiler, even though it feels like there's quite a bit of hefty information there. And let me just check how far through I am. So this is how far I am into the book. Spotify says I am 64% of the way through, and this is a roughly about a 550 page book, and so I'm quite late to be doing my first check-in. However, I have been reading this book for over a week, and this is not like me. I had really high hopes for this book because I've never read anything by Elise Cover, and I thought this would be interesting because it has fake engagement, it's an academy setting, it has tarot cards, and I loved One Dark Window, so I thought, great, perfect, I'm gonna love this magic system. And this is just, there's something missing. It felt like it was very fast paced at the beginning, and I liked the high stakes, and the pacing has really slowed down. Not much has happened so far, and the magic system is really confusing. And I think I saw Tammy explaining it. It doesn't make sense. So it has a tarot card system. So you've got all these different cards in the tarots, and you've got all your decks, but the decks are like wands, swords, cups, all that. You've also got clans, and the clans and suits don't necessarily relate. So your clans are in the kingdom and your arcanists are within a suit. And then once you join one of the houses, like the House of Wands or Cards or whatever, then you get assigned to a clan, I think. Each different suit has a personality and it has like a trait. However, you'll have the 3 of Wands will be like fire magic, but then the 5 of Wands will be something completely unrelated. It's not like it doesn't get like a stronger power or a related power or anything like that. You'll just have some rogue magic thrown into the middle of it, and I wouldn't class this as spoilers. So there's a glossary at the back which I should probably keep referring to, but it kind of doesn't make sense. But like, for example, Ace of Cups, this says it channels the elemental magic of water for small to moderate magical acts. But then suddenly Ace of Cups is removal of a skill for 8 minutes. So how does the ace and the 8 relate. Oh yeah, so like here you've got a 9 of wands. However, you don't have a 9 of coins. It's just very confusing. And I find that because it's more confusing and not as easy to understand, you either one, have to just be confused, or two, you have to just over explain when you use these cards what happens, because you're never going to remember, because there doesn't seem to be any orderly system to it. So I find that bit really confusing. There's too many different storylines all happening at the same time. So it's not just the fact that it's an academy setting. It's an academy setting and you've got a mystery involved. You've also got different dynamics because Prince Kalis is asking for your help. However, you're in prison. So technically Prince Kalis and the crown should be your enemy. And I'm just not loving it. And I really wish I was, because people are so hyped for this book, and the bookseller at Waterstones recommended it to me, so I really want to enjoy it. I don't try and read new releases, and I think I am learning my lesson to not read new releases until I understand what it's about more. But it's just a bit slow paced, magic system's confusing, and I don't particularly care about any of the characters. There's been some plot points and I'm not bothered. There's also so many different characters that, because I'm listening to it on audio and reading it, I'm finding it very confusing to keep up with. I've kind of, now that we're 60% in, understood some of it, but they've got very similar names, and yeah, I'm just not loving it. I enjoy it when I'm reading it. However, I've got no urge to pick it up constantly, but I am hoping to get this finished before this weekend, just so I can kind of move on to something else. I was debating that if this is going to put me into a slump, to swap and try and read something else instead, but I just want to get it done, which isn't really the best. So far, I'm thinking this is probably like in the 3-star territory. It might be the fact that I've been busy at work and I can't dedicate as much time to reading, so maybe I'm not giving this book the full chance. And I enjoy it when I read it, I've just got no inclination to pick it up, and it is really confusing and a bit convoluted at this stage. I don't believe the friendships and relationships and things like that. I'm not sold yet, and considering I'm 65% of the way through, I feel like I should be. I feel like I'm a bit too far in to still be like doubtful. Also, every now and then there'll be like a bit of a, it's not a spicy scene, but a really spicy comment made, and it kind of feels quite disjointed. It feels like it doesn't quite match to the vibe of the book so far. So yeah, so that is my 60% check-in. I am hoping that I'll keep enjoying it, because I think it's going to be part of the series and it's a new release, so I'd really like to get on the hype. I'll probably only check in once I finish the book, because it's only about another 200 pages, so hopefully it won't take me too long. Hello. I've not done a check-in in a few days because I've been very, very study heavy, but I have some reading updates for you. So it is now Sunday, but on Friday I finished Arcana Academy. I rated this 2.75 stars. I had such high expectations for this book, despite not actually seeing much about it. There's a few creators that I follow and they loved it. They got like art copies and they were raving about it. The bookseller at Waterstones loved it. And this, as my boyfriend rightly put it, it was giving tubes, which is 2-star vibes. I did debate giving it 3 stars, but in reality, it wasn't 3 stars. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed other 3 stars. It was 2.75 stars. I liked the concept, I liked the idea of the tarot magic and the academic setting, but there was just so many parts that I didn't like. Clara, the FMC, she was not likable. She made some really poor decisions and she had this mentality that everybody was out to get her, which she might be right, but it's not a likeable narrative to read. Kalis, the FMC, he was fine, he was okay. I feel like there was a lot of contradictory, like Elise Kova was trying to paint this image of him as being this ruthless prince, and then when you read him in the book he wasn't like that, but not in a sense of he only treats Clara this way, in a sense of it doesn't match up. Oh, sorry if you see my broken nail. In a sense of like it doesn't match up. I think the magic system was so confusing that it made it not enjoyable to read, because when there was fight scenes you didn't understand what the spells were happening. I understand the concept of the minors and the majors, but all the actual spells themselves were just very confusing. There was too many plot points. There was mysteries and secret identities and fake engagement and training and all of this. It was too much in one and you didn't know what to follow. It was also really confusing because there's so many plot points, but it was also really slow paced. So the first maybe 10 chapters or so was like good. It was like you saw her, how she moved from the prison, she started the academy, and then it kind of just stopped and not much happened in between. I'm not somebody that looks for spice in my books in particular. There was a little bit of spice in this, but it wasn't needed. It wasn't done very well because it felt very rushed, and considering this is a nearly 600 page book, you don't really need to rush it. It feels like this was a YA book and then they've put a little spice in it to make it an adult book, and the ending was kind of expected but unexpected. I didn't get any attachments to the characters, so when certain plot points happened I didn't really react too much. And yeah, so this was quite a disappointing one for my first Elise Kova book. I would be interested to continue the series if I could find a way to read it for free, basically. I don't DNF books, however, I was debating DNFing it. But this is the thing, so when I was reading it, I was enjoying it. I listened to it on Spotify and read it. I got into it, but then as soon as I put it down, I had no inclination to pick it back up. So I would be open to reading the second book, because sometimes I think the first book isn't the best. You've got to get through the first book, and then the second, third, fourth, whatever book is almost so much better. And I'm open to trying more. So not what I was hoping for my August pick. So I've had 2 mid books in August so far, so I'm really hoping that it picks up after this. So that's the first book finished in this reading vlog. And because I've been so bad at updating this, on Friday I already started my next book. I was debating reading Book of Azrael. I was debating reading another book which I'll keep it as a surprise just in case. And I decided to go with something on my TBR, and I thought this was an easy pick. I've opted for These Infinite Threads by Tahira Mafi, and I liked the idea of jumping into a world that I already knew and understood, so it wasn't quite as intense world building, because the last few books that I've read have been new books with new world building and new series, so I thought it'd be good to continue this series. And because I've been so bad at updating you, I'm already 144 pages in. Oh, also look at my little bookmark. Yeah, so I'm already 144 pages in, which is about 35%. This is quite a short book considering what I've been reading recently. It's 402 pages, and I'm loving this so far. I love the audiobook narrator. She's got such a great, rich voice. It really adds to the vibe of the book, because this is a book that has roots with Persian mythology. It's following Eliza, who is the lost princess of the Jinn Kingdom, and she's in hiding. And in the first book, This Woven Kingdom, she has this altercation and she gets discovered by the Crown Prince of Ardunia, and the book goes from there. So it's kind of got aspects of Persian mythology and Persian heritage, which is nice because it's different than a lot of the Fae stuff and the medieval stuff I've been reading. It follows, so I didn't realise that Jinn are already a concept. So Jinn are this type of magical being in this world. Let me actually Google what a Jinn is. Oh, Jinn are supernatural beings in pre-Islamic Arabian religion and Islam. They are described as beings of smokeless fire, existing alongside humans and angels, and are often depicted as having free will and the ability to choose between good and evil. Jinn are created from smokeless fire, while humans are made of clay and angels of light. Ah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard of the concept of Jinn before, so this is my first book where I'm reading it. I think, is it An Ember in the Ashes is also Jinn? I'm not too sure, but yeah, so I'm loving this series. It's YA, it's got different themes in it, and I like the heritage and the vibes. And do you know what? I love Tahira Mafi's writing. I think she's hilarious. The way that she writes her characters, they are YA, and I think they're teenagers or early 20s, but she writes the characters and they come out with these lines which are so profound and intellectual and hilarious. Eliza calls someone a cretin, and I think that's funny. So being from like Northern England, I love the insult cretin. I think it's hilarious. I can't say too much because it would spoil the series, but this is following Eliza. It follows directly on from book 1 after the events of the end of the book, and yeah, I'm loving it so far. I'm actually hoping that I'll get this done pretty quickly. Like I say, I've only been reading it since Friday and I'm already 140 pages in. It's only 400 pages, so I could maybe essentially get this done by Monday. So that is what I'm reading at the moment. There's like a pink theme going on, isn't there? I can probably guarantee the next book will not be pink. But I will check in with you. Probably, I might end up doing 2 more check-ins, or I will just let you know when I finish this book. Hello, so it's a few days later. Excuse the heavily creased top, it's the end of the workday, so I've just got some slob clothes on, and I have a reading update for you. We've got about 50 pages left. This book is very just like, no plot, just vibes. I like the character development we're getting. We're getting a bit of a storyline development as well, but the characters are just growing so much. We're seeing other sides to them, and I'm just really enjoying it. So let's finish this book. I'm not entirely sure what I think just yet, so let me regroup. I'm gonna write my thoughts down on my reviews, and then maybe I might have been able to string some sentences together. I've inserted my book review that I post on Fable and Goodreads, and I loved this. This was such a different style of book for me. I'm usually very plot focused. I need plot to keep developing, otherwise I get bored, but this was all character focused, and it was so much fun. I love Tahira's writing. I think she's witty and funny, and she says such profound things. And tell me, why am I craving Brad? If you know, you know. But yeah, her sarkiness is just right on my humour, and I loved it. I think the relationships, the friendships, and all that you experience is so like deep set that I believe it. And I just loved the character development. We're seeing more of Eliza and Cyrus and Cameron. We're seeing different sides, and I'm so conflicted in my opinion of people because you see so many different sides, and because you're in their head, you don't know which way to go. And I think that's the point, and I think that's brilliant. This was almost like a filler book, but it didn't give filler book vibes because it was so character focused, and you felt everything so strongly. And those last few chapters, I don't really cry at books, but this really got me. It's heartbreaking and devastating, but it's YA. Am I supposed to feel this way for a YA? I think so, but I loved it so much. 4 stars. Would kind of want to dive into the next one, but I'm happy how easy it was to jump into this world and familiarise myself with all these characters, that I might save it for a time where I'm feeling a bit slumpy and I need something comforting. This gives me like warm summer vibes. I don't know if it's because it's Persian and the atmosphere and the dragons. And I will say that dragons, I could do with some more dragon content. I'm happy to see a bit more. This was great. I'm getting hooked. I can see where the hype is. I can see why people love it. So it is Monday night, and I'm hoping this video is going to go up on Sunday, so I might try and squeeze in another book in this reading vlog. Not sure if I'll get it finished. Probably already seen it in the thumbnail, but at this time I don't know what I'm going to read. I've got books on my TBR, but my copy of The Poisoner arrived. I read the first line. I'm really tempted, so we'll see. We'll see you in the next check-in. Hello, so I thought it was time for another reading check-in. It's a few days later, and as you would have seen, I've started The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. Yes, I am still holding my books weird to avoid you seeing my broken nail, because my nail appointment got moved, so we're just going to roll with it. But yes, I started The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. I have got no idea what this book is about. Went into it completely blind. All I've seen is that Laura reads Paperback Honey, raves about it, loves it, and I was kind of interested. And it's a relatively short book. It's not actually on my TBR, but after I read that first page, I had to pick it up. So this is the book that I'm currently reading. I've been reading it for about 2 days, and I think I'm 36% of the way through so far. I have been reading it on, I've actually been reading it on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I can keep my nice pristine trophy book, and I've also been listening to it on Spotify. It is duet narration, and so this book follows Alina, who is a botanist at heart. She loves studying plants and algae and all the fun green stuff. She gets that from her dad, but on the side she also brews poisons for well-deserving victims, is all I will say. And she goes to this party and she meets the creature, and that's all I can say so far. I think this is going to be very character focused and not plot heavy. I'm already 36% of the way through so far, and not much has happened. There's been a few parties, a few encounters. This is dark. If it didn't have some fantastical elements to it, I think this is the closest dark romance I've ever read, because it's giving like stalker vibes, and I think that's what a lot of dark romances I like. Yes, we've got our FMC and our MMC, and they're just interacting so far. I thought this was going to be a bit more of a slow burn, and it's not, because 25% in and there was already a scene, and I was like, oh wow, okay. And yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. The audiobook's not my favourite because they've got English accents. However, I think, and I will check this, but I think it's originally American narrators, because every now and then their accents sound a bit weird, and as somebody with an English accent, I feel like you can notice it more. So they were speaking in an English accent, but then said the word route, and that threw me off a bit. It's not my favourite. However, the audiobook does have the infamous clicking, which I thought would be a bit more creepy. It's not as creepy as I thought. It's kind of like ominous, and it does add to it, but it's not as like eerie as I expected. But so far I'm enjoying this. I like the gothic atmosphere. I like the Victorian, I think it's Georgian, 1800. So I like the time frame it's set in. I like the friendship that she's got with Phoebe. And yeah, it's just a vibe so far. So I'm enjoying it, and I guess I'll check in when I've got a bit more to say. Hello, it's a few days later, a jump scare for me with no makeup on, but I just really wanted to film my final reactions to me reading The Poisoner. You probably can't see this because it's a bit dark in here, but I'm going to finish this tonight, and I just wanted to film my reaction. I've been really enjoying this so far. It's been so vibey and funny and gothic, and I've just been really enjoying it. I've been loving it, so I've absolutely tanned through the end of it. I've got a few tabs already, so yeah, I'm going to put some gothic ambience on YouTube. I've got my blanket, I've got my Ricky Rain frog, and yeah, I'm going to finish The Poisoner. I do have the physical copy, however, I've been reading it on my Kindle, and that just seems to be the quickest way for me. So let's finish The Poisoner. Sorry if it's hard to hear me over the cat fountain and the atmosphere. I guessed one of these plot points earlier. I guessed it. I even said to my boyfriend, I was like, watch this space, blah, 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 blah. And I was right. However, there's so much more to it, and it's so exciting. I love it. Okay, let's get reading. So we are done. I'm probably gonna have a little think, wrap up my thoughts, and close out this video tomorrow. Hello, so it's a few days later, and yes, I finally got my nails done so I can stop holding stuff weird to avoid the broken nail. But you will have seen that I finished The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. If I was being really specific, this would be somewhere between a 3.75 stars and 4, but for the sake of rounding, I'm going to rate it 4 stars. This was such a gothic mood. It was no plot, just vibes. It was character development. I didn't realize that this is part of a series. This isn't a standalone, but lucky for me, the second book is actually coming out in October. I loved it. I loved the different representation of vampires in this, or whatever creature you want to call them. I liked the humour. There were some lines in this that really made me laugh. I liked the dynamic. It was dark at times, but I was up for it. It was fun. So I will put my Goodreads review up just in case I've missed anything, but I did really enjoy it and I'm excited to read more from Ivy Ophelia. She's got one coming out, I think it's called Fruit of the Flesh, which I don't usually read author's notes, but I've seen that she likes a lot of Victorian eras and things like that, so I'd be interested to read more from her. But Fruit of the Flesh looks really good. I like some of the imagery. I also really liked the orange imagery in this. I don't know if there's a deeper meaning for it, but I just find it really interesting. She brought it up quite a few times. I really like the friendship between Phoebe and Elena. I like the dynamics. I like the little twist that we got and the reveals, and I just thought it was really good. So I think the next book is set 2 years later, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes, and I'm excited to pick up the next one. So these are the books that I read in this reading vlog. Just to round up, we've got Arcana Academy, which was a 2.75 stars. We've got These Infinite Threads by Tahira Maffitt, that was 4 stars, and then The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia, and again that was 4 stars. And they weirdly kind of match, you see, they're like pink and black at the same time. I would say that this month has been a bit interesting so far. I've not had any top tier 5-star reads yet. I've had some good fun times, some low 4s with These Infinite Threads and The Poisoner. I've had a bit of a dud with Arcana Academy. I'm just really, I want something to really grip me, and nothing's quite getting there just yet. I've just started reading another book that's on my TBR, so hopefully I'll become obsessed with this series. But yeah, so that is this reading vlog. I've got some ideas for content coming up, so keep your eyes peeled if you are interested. And I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye, Racer. Cool. I'm nervous because my boyfriend's downstairs and I usually film when he's not in the house.